Egypt is not a historical country. Egypt came first. Then history came. That was said by Naguib Mahfouz, which is very famous Egyptian author, and maybe it's a little bit exaggerated, but basically there is a long history before ancient Egypt, before pharaohs. And this prehistoric or pre-dynastic Egypt was the period of time starting at the first human settlements and ending at the first dynasty of Egypt, around 3100 BC. First pharaohs, first kings, and the state, and the kingdoms. So at the end of prehistory, pre-dynastic Egypt is traditionally defined as the period from the final part of the Neolithic period, beginning circa 6210 BC to the end of the Naqada III period around 3000 BC. There were three Naqadas. Naqada first, second, and third. The third is the last one. There are periods where we can find different artifacts from these times, and usually around 4400 BC to 3100 BC, you can find a lot of jars or ivory figurines, or direct vases or knives or cosmetic palettes. So a lot of interesting artifacts in museums. And the dates of the pre-dynastic period were first defined before widespread archaeological excavation of Egypt took place, and recent finds indicating a very gradual pre-dynastic development have led to this some controversy over when exactly the pre-dynastic periods ended. Thus, various terms such as proto-dynastic period or zero dynasty or dynasty zero are used to name the part of the period which might be characterized as pre-dynastic by some and early dynastic by others. So there are different terms, basically it's all the same, but these times are really specific and very, very interesting. And we can find these three periods. For instance, this Naqada third period is the last phase of this culture of ancient Egyptian prehistory, so pre-dynasty, dating from approximately 3200 to 3100, 3000 BC. It is the period during which the process of the state formation started, and it began in Naqada III, so in this last phase, but also in Naqada II. So Naqada II, Naqada III became highly visible, with named kings heading powerful policies and powerful, actually sort of like battles. Naqada III is often referred to as Dynasty Zero, or the proto-dynastic period. So there is already like some formation. It's not a number one dynasty, but zero. To reflect the presence of the kings and the head of the influential states, although in fact the kings involved would not have been a part of a dynasty. In this period, those kings' names, or what we know, were described and inscribed in the form of serex on a variety of surfaces, including pottery and tombs. So that's the actually problem. We don't know exactly who were these people, but kings or some leaders, and they were only like somehow on some artifacts and objects written the names. So this proto-dynastic or prehistoric period is still sort of not very excavated, we don't know a lot of things, because they still didn't have actually system of families, but they started to be actually somehow formed into states.